It's now 5:30 in the afternoon on a Friday, and this is Congressman Danny Davis, your host, for the next 25 minutes of Hotline 21. Not only is it Hotline 21, it's also been Hot Weather 21 all week. It's a pleasure. I trust that everybody enjoyed the 4th of July. I trust that everybody recognized that America, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. America, my countryside, let freedom ring. Dr. King said, let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes. Let freedom reign from every hill and molehill. You know, America has some beautiful songs. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above thy fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, America. The country that's never been, yet must be. America, where slaves didn't know that the Emancipation Proclamation had been issued for a year and a half or so. A country where African Americans were slaves. Countries where Chinese Americans were called coolies and built railroads. Country where Mexican Americans, especially part of the country, used to actually belong to Mexico, to them. But yesterday, as the blues singer would say, is dead and gone. Tomorrow is out of sight. I need somebody to help me carry on. Help me make it through the night. Well, it's Friday. I love it, because we have the opportunity to make America become something that's never been. And so we keep working. I was reading the community newspapers and I saw the Austin Weekly. And I brought along some with me. I saw the Austin Voice. These are some good-looking community newspapers. If you don't get all the news that you want one place, get it in another place. Read your local papers so you can know what's going on. And people who read them know that they convey great information and great news. I was in town all week, and so Friday of last week, I met with Dr. Helen Gale, President and CEO of the Chicago Community Trust, along with Senator Matty Hunter. And we talked about getting help from the Chicago Community Trust to do all kind of things that we would hope to do. I met that same day with the American Ambulance, Superior Ambulance, at 395 West Lake Street in Elmhurst. I want to send a shout out to Recorder of Deeds Karen Yarbrough I understand that her father is in the process of transitioning. An outstanding man who at one time was the mayor of Maywood, Illinois. He's had his own insurance agency for many, many years, about 90 years old or so. Outstanding minister, Don Williams, preacher at Second Baptist Church in Maywood, one of the associate ministers. So I know Karen and her family are going through things that we all go through at some point. And so I want to just send a shout out to her and her family. I also want to thank the people over at Chase Bank. Senator Hunter and I met with them last Friday. Nicole Elam is the Vice President for Government Relations, and we talked about needs in the African American community and how Chase Bank can be helpful. Went to a number of funerals, as we kind of always do almost every weekend. Somebody passes away. And we attend as many of those as we can. Met with our education committee this afternoon. Thank you, Sharita Logan. Met yesterday with the mayor of Westchester, Illinois, Paul Gatsu. Had a business meeting with Eugene Jones and Bill Jacobs of the down at the Chicago Cut. Had dinner with them. So it's been a great week. You want to tell us what your week has been like? Go right ahead.
Yeah, how you doing, Congressman Davis?
James, I am doing good. How are you?
Okay, like you said, people should not turn their back on their kids. But Congressman Davis, Rod Manuel them turn their back on their kids, and they won't file the flag in them. They supposed to have a march and file the flag tomorrow, but they don't want to file the flag to have that march tomorrow. The police don't want him to have it, but they have everything else. Why they should not care about the flag? He should not have that march. He has the right to have that march. And like you said, people should not turn their kids on people should not turn their back on their kids. You're absolutely right.
Are you going to the march tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going because I think it like this. See, everybody had to not turn their back on the legal immigrants. And there was a lot of people had support the legal immigrant. Why can't they don't want to fight the flag to support the people and have the violence getting gone down? Why they gotta have one way and not the other way?
All right. Well, hey, thank you, James. Thank you so much. You are a true spirited activist, and so I'm glad that you're going to the march. We got any other callers right now? We're open for our callers. You can always give us a call. Anytime you get ready, just go right ahead. But we are getting deep into the summer. You know, in the summertime, we used to sing a song when I was growing up. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these days you're gonna rise up singing, and you'll spread your wings and take to the sky. Oh, they're just great summer songs. There was another one we used to sing, loafing on the water, doing what you please. The moon is shining through the cottonwood trees, just kind of loafing on the water. Well, pretty soon we're going to have elections. And we always say that elections have consequences. People are going to be out picnicking in the park. They're going to be out having barbecue. They're going to be out talking about issues. And I hope that every one of you in the state of Illinois will make sure that you are registered to vote. And make sure that you actually vote in the November election. Because you see, if you don't vote, it's sort of an indication that you really don't understand the value, or you don't understand what it is that you can do. I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Cora B. Johnson, whose son died. And Cora B. is some of us who affectionately know her. I call her Dr. J. She was a long-time member of the board of the Bobby E. Wright Health Center. She pretty much was always a member of that board. So, Dr. Johnson, we thank you for your service. We commend you for your engagement and involvement. And we'll go right to the phone, take our next caller. Caller, are you there?
Good afternoon, Dr. Davis, U.S. Representative, 7th District. Give yourself a pat on the back, and you, as a mother people that in the Congress are doing things to oppose the current president. And when you see what's going on now in terms of his politics, it seems like he is nothing but for the rich. And I hope to God I am wrong. This man going to wind up being reelected. And the reason why I say that is because of this. It seems like based on income, you're more likely to vote. And when it comes to the lower income, they don't necessarily come out and vote. If you want certain things to change, you have to express it at the ballot box.
Let me ask you, why do you think low-income people don't vote any more than we do?
Well, a lot of times they don't understand what is their state rep, what is their state senator, what's the alderman do, and they don't understand. They think those offices should be the local employment office, and they be thinking those people, well, you do something for me, like get me a job, I vote for you. That's how passionates came into play. It's all about you do something for me, I do something for you, and they thinking politicians a lot of times it could get them a job.
And is anything wrong with that?
I don't know. We've been through that before, and it did not necessarily work out. I can't think of that that law we had in the city of Chicago in terms of passionates.
The Shackman Decree.
Yes. That it was a lot of stuff that it was a big mess. And I don't think that a lot of times your employment should be, except unless you're elected office, that's different. I don't think your employment should be linked to politics, and it needs to be some type of separation.
And I think that's what Shackman, I think when it kind of started as a way of helping immigrants and helping people who would come to a place and wouldn't know how to get all the goods and services that were available to them. And there were people who helped them. But then the next thing we knew, now you've got people who stay in office forever.
Yes.
I know that Pat Quinn is out trying to get signatures saying that the mayor of Chicago, the mayor of a big town, should not be able to stay in office forever, that they should only be able to do 2 terms.
Now, you brought Pat Quinn up, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There was a recording that Harold Washington, the late Mayor Harold Washington made, saying Pat Quinn was a certain type of position was not qualified. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I remember when Harold Washington got a little upset with Pat Quinn and fired him.
Yeah.
And he did that basically because Pat took umbrage with some of the people who worked for Pat also. And generally, whoever is in charge, anybody that worked for them, do whatever it is that they say.
That's the way it is.
And Pat didn't so much defy Harold personally, but he defied Harold's chief of staff and other people who would be conveying messages to him, and then he'd go and do what he decided to do. And that was so unfortunate because the real deal is if you work for somebody, you pretty much are expected to carry out their mandate.
And speaking of carrying out the mandate, I think you are doing a good job for the people by imposing the current president that we have. It should not necessarily be a rubber stamp, and this man have no business being president. I want to say this, I want to be done. Now, how the heck can he be president and he cannot pass a security clearance? He's unfit for office. That's all I want to say. Take care.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your call. You know, this president probably has had more talk about him than any president I can imagine. But let's go right on back to the call and hear what our next caller has to say. Caller, are you there?
Congressman Danny Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Louis Tenuta said hello. He's doing just fine.
Oh, that sounds wonderful to me.
He getting a little up there in his age. Yeah, he can't too much stepping no more, Danny Davis.
All right.
But I'd like to make a comment of that last caller. He's absolutely right, that young man. The president we got today, you know what his name is, Tweety Bird. Look what he's doing with the Ping Chong Ching over there. He made all kinds of promises, made a big deal because he shook his hand, and that man ain't not going to be taking no nuclear nothing down. Might calm him down for a little while. I think they should send Rodman over there with Ping Chong Ching. He does a pretty good job with him. Don't you fall asleep on me. My Mr. Cobb, you're so tired. You do so much work for the city of Chicago. Yes, sir. So what we going to do about all these little Spanish babies? What you think about all that with the border? They going to fix it all up? How are they going to find their children and stuff? What do you think?
Well, I think there are some children who will be permanently dislodged from their families and lost from their families, will not be reconnected, and I think that's a shame. I think that every child needs as much care and protection as they can get. And so I hope we'll be able to reunite as many of them as we possibly can. So we'll keep working on the issue. We'll keep trying to make sure that none of our children will get lost. One great blues singer said, "Who will save the world? Who's willing to try? Who will save a world that is destined to die? Save the baby." Caller, are you there?
Yes, Congressman, and it's a great day to be on God's green earth. I mean, truly a great day. Two quick comments. Paula, listen to me. Jeff Sessions is Tweety Bird, and Donald Duck is the president. Those what those two are. But listen, hey Joe, I really believe that I think it was no doubt in my mind that the Russians was meddling into this to get that man elected. If he get elected again, then we know that there is such a thing called Martians, and the Russians, they still help controlling things. There's no way in this man in high water should win anything else again. But listen, can't you imagine what they're going to be saying 30 or 40 years from now about our current president? Listen, thanks for taking call. Have a great weekend. Be safe.
You too. Let me ask you quickly, do you think he'll get re-elected?
Well, let me tell you something. I was always taught anything has a chance. But if this man get elected, just like I say, we know Martians are coming to the polls, and we know Russian is still meddling in our business. That's the only way.
All right. Okay, I think we've got time for a couple more callers. Any caller on the line? Well, while we don't have a caller, we still have opportunity. I'm going to say something that I think we are not teaching our children enough about faith. I've been mentioning the fact all week that I went to two outstanding churches last Sunday. And I observed that both of them, one was a Catholic church and one was a Baptist church. And there just were not present the number of young people that I had hoped would be there. And I'm not suggesting that everybody's got to be just totally locked into religious doctrine. But I believe that there are so many wonderful things that you learn at church, and so many things that are helpful, that goes on. And that if you've got the spiritual base, it often can help you overcome diversity. It can help you overcome difficulty. And it can help you work through challenges and problems. So I'm going to encourage parents to try and make sure that they infuse into their children's thinking and personalities more of this concept of church. I know there are people who talk about separation of church and state, and I'm not trying to add them together. I'm just trying to say to people that I believe that there is something within that you can't always explain. There's something within that holdeth the rein. And if you can make use of that, I do believe that life will become better and easier and more productive for you. Enjoy the last of this 4th of July weekend. Be good to somebody other than yourself. And may the good Lord bless and keep you until we meet again. See you next week.